Hey guys, I'm Ram, this is Ranj, and welcome to the Thinking Out Loud podcast. We hope you enjoy the show.
Cool.
We're back.
We're back for
Episode 2.
the next episode. Yeah. Good song. But anyway, but today I wanted to ask you another opening question or open question for the opening. So today my question is: recently, what's been bringing you joy and inspiration?
Yeah, well, joy, this definitely, because it feels like we're in episode 2 and we're right in the weeds of it, which is really good. I'm looking forward to obviously doing a lot more of this, but generally the question, my joy, I've been writing books. I've had this newfound passion for writing, and and it's allowed me to, I guess it's also allowed me to heal from things, writing as well, which is really, really good, because you sort of unpick you're unpicking your mind what's been making you feel a certain way, and how you can sort of, you take action to get out of it, and how it makes you, how it makes you grow as a person and stuff. And I've found specific topics that I'm writing about in the book, and I'm sort of sharing it in the form of small prompts. So like if I'm talking about hardship, so the way I'm trying to write it is writing it to take readers on a journey. So when they're in a form of hardship, how that sort of feels. The next stage of hardship is to how to grow out of hardship, taking action, and then reaping the rewards and the results that you get from the hardship that you've experienced and the actions that you've taken to grow from it. So I'm not writing full chapters of it. It's just in sharp quotes that allow you to feel what it is that you're going through in those moments, how it feels, and then navigating yourself through. So that's something different I'm trying to write. I'm writing a book around alcohol. So more around how alcohol can impact those who have a different choice in life and don't want to drink alcohol, especially if they've been brought up in an environment where alcohol is a prominent social activity. And I've been, which we'll talk about another another podcast, but that's something I've been going through. I take a different direction. I'm not a big fan of alcohol, and I've seen quite a lot in my childhood life. So I'm writing that based on my experiences, in the hope that it will help somebody else going through that. But that's been my main joy. Really excited. Every evening I'm writing at least 1 or 2 hours a day. See what I can write down, what my thoughts are. And like I said, it helps me to grow and heal from past childhood trauma as well. So that's the main purpose of it. And the joy is that I love it when I'm done, when I feel accomplished as well. So that's me. How about you?
My joy, I think it is this podcast as well, but I think just setting everything up, and obviously we've just had some technical issues, trying to fix those technical issues out. And just trying to get the quality and kind of the technology all improved on this. I just like to, when I'm focused on something, I'm just kind of like, let's get this done. And it's something like this I am enjoying. I don't know. Inspiration is just like my family, really. It's just kind of my son, wife. Like yesterday, we had a nice day where he went swimming in the morning, and he had a great time. He's only recently started swimming, and he had a great time. And then last night we were just doing silly things like painting, but then we ended up painting each other's faces and stuff like that, and it's amazing. So that's it really.
The little things.
The little things, and obviously they're the things that inspire, just like my family are the ones that inspire me to kind of better myself as a person, whether it's mentally and like physically, like mental health and physical health. They're the ones that kind of get me up in the morning, try and improve myself, just so they can have a better version of me, basically. So it was good.
Amazing.
What are we going to talk about today?
What are we talking about today? So we're talking about cultural expectations within the Asian community. I think it's a pretty delicate topic to talk about, but one that should be spoken about and explored, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good topic to start with as part of episode 2. And I think the first question I want to ask around this is, where does this generate from? Where does this stem from? Why is there a cultural expectation still placed on children by their parents to live a life a certain way? That's the main question, the exam question, really.
Yeah, the exam question, the main question. I think with cultural expectations, I feel, or how I interpret it is, I think parents just want the best for their kids. Majority of the parents want the best for their kids, and I think that's why. Because I'm thinking about it from an education point of view. Like, I'm sure we've all had the conversation with our parents, or they've had the conversation with us when we were growing up, and just say, you need to be a doctor, you need to be a dentist, you need to be a pharmacist, you need to be, like you say, like an engineer. Like those sorts of. I think doctor's the main one. I think every Asian kid's had the doctor conversation with their parents, and I think, I'm assuming where that's come from. From my point of view, I think they just want the best for you, so they're pushing you and just be like, you need to do good in school, for you to then become a doctor, for whether it's financially you'll be, sound, or whether it be a status thing, because it is kind of like, a doctor is in high regard, and like understandably so, right? They do a job where you kind of potentially save lives and bring people back to health. But I think I think for them it's kind of like, I want the best for my child. I don't want them to go through the hardship that potentially I went through grafting. So that's how kind of I see it. But obviously I know like cultural expectations is a big kind of topic.
Yeah.
So like what's your interpretation of that? Like what do you think of when you read the title of today's podcast about cultural expectations?
Yeah, I think that is definitely one area. I think that they do want what's best for their kids, and they'll do whatever they can in order to make their kids make sure their kids have a secure life.
Yeah,
I do agree with that, and I think the challenge that comes with that is for children is that how it comes across, because in childhood these are sort of expectations that are discussed, or things that are discussed within dialogues and conversations around life. And even when you go to family places and all that, there was always an expectation around the dreaded question, are you married, for example?
Yeah.
But you should do this profession, you should do that profession.
Yeah.
And I think part of me, yes, whilst it is what they want, what's best for us, I think our interpretation of that is either in two ways. It's either, yes, we thank you for looking out for us, but there's another interpretation of it being pressure and pressurizing their kids into doing being a doctor, being married at a certain age, etc. And I think it's important to try and explore as to whether that expectation has come from a higher power, from somewhere further up. So I'm talking about their parents, our parents, their parents, and their parents, and it's a sort of a dynamic of living like that they were so used to. So, you'd do studies, then you'd get married, then you'd have children. And I wonder if that was sort of a lack of choice on their part, where that is what they knew of what life was about. And it's funny because now we're within the 21st century. A lot of these norms are being challenged. Yeah, a lot, so to speak. That children now recognise that they have their own voice and they have their own. That they have their own ways that they want to live their life. They have their own professions, their own likes, dislikes, etc. And I think there's a big challenge here, the dynamic between parents and children in that relationship, because in the past it was more, this is how you should live your life.
Yeah.
And it's a case of, right, okay, parents would, or that trend would be followed, like that linear approach to living. Like I said, get married, study, get married, have kids, work, etc.
Yeah.
Now it's completely different now. Again, it's more like, if we see it as pressure, it's more of a challenge back to our parents to say, thank you, I appreciate what you're doing, or what what you're doing for us to keep us more secure. But then now here is the dynamic of our children retaliating, because not retaliating in a bad way, but in a good way, to appreciate that, but recognize that they can think things through for themselves and defend a life and live a life for themselves.
Yeah.
As I now think about it, I just feel like that it's really what the interpretation of that message is from our parents and how we see it. But I feel like the dialogue has been that it comes across as pressure these days now, because whilst parents have expectations for their children, it plays out as if it's placing an expectation on their children to achieve or meet the parents' desires as well. So I want you to get married. So it's more like comes across as if I want this and I want that. I'm not saying it does, but that's how I interpret it at the moment. So I don't know what you think of that.
Well, like you said, like I think when our parents were younger, I think it was more of they didn't have a choice. It's kind of like, right, you're at an age where you're going to get married. Obviously, a lot of the parents probably didn't go into further education and stuff like that. So, they probably were put into a job where there's family business or whatever, and then then you're going to get married and then have kids, and that's it. And
is that their needs though, or are they looking at? So that's interrupt. They looking at? Is that their needs for? Is that their wants and desires for their children, or is that a need for themselves?
So I think so. Obviously, with the grandparents telling our parents, time to get married, they didn't have a choice, and obviously now that's filtered down to our generation, and. The thing is, it's difficult, right? Because again, and I go back to, I guess parents want the best for us, and I think sometimes it might be a genuine, I just want my kids to be happy, to settle down with someone, so they've got someone to you get married and all that. But like you said, the world's a completely different place now, and people can be like either more career focused, and it's like, you know what, I want to concentrate on my career, I want to concentrate on to get to the highest level I can before I even think about, having a partner or getting married, just because it's not fair on the partner who's coming in, if you're concentrating on constantly working and stuff, because it's not fair on them, because you need to have that time together, you need to have that time to get to know each other, depending on obviously how the marriage happened, whether it was a love marriage or arranged marriage or introduced marriage or whatever it is. You guys need to connect, right? So I think the world's different, so you got that aspect. There might even be people who are like, you know what, I don't even want to marry anyone, I don't maybe they want to be with a partner but just not get married, because kind of like, why am I getting married? Like it's a piece of paper, it's just a contract essentially. So people have their like different thoughts on that, and I think when you said about when you go to weddings and function, people say, are you married yet? And you say no, and that look of disappointment on the auntie's face, right? And you just like, and I think that's complete nonsense. It's like, you have no idea about me, and why? What? So if I say that, what you say I'm a better person, or
people please.
Are you even if I'm married, my partner's an arsehole, right. But I'm married, so you're happy, and and that's why it's a nonsense. Like you get married, it's a lifelong commitment, right? And there's going to be some highs and lows in the marriage, but it depends on who you're with. Well, I guess help those highs and lows, or see how high you can get and how much you can kind of. You don't want to go too low with the lows. And it's just having that kind of understanding. But it goes back to kind of like, I think generally parents just want the best for their kids. But obviously that pressure then does go onto the kids. You say, well, it could be like I don't really want to, but if to get you off my case, I'll start looking.
That's the perfect thing, is that there's a few things that have just come into my mind. One of them is marriage feels as if in those days marriage was a tick box exercise.
Yeah.
Just get married.
Yeah.
The second point is that women probably didn't have a choice in those times, that they were
I don't think even men did.
Men didn't. Yeah. I guess, you're right. Both of them probably didn't have, but then I guess what the difference in dynamics now these days is women are a lot more empowered to live the life they want.
Yeah.
And that does naturally make it difficult to maybe get married at a certain age, like get married early, because, there's women have now recognise they have the strength in them to realize, hang on, if men are working, if men are earning money, if men are growing in that field, why can't women have the opportunity to do that?
Yeah.
Why is it that women always have to come home? Why women always have to look after the family, stay at home, look after the family, and fulfill that duty and obligation that's placed upon them by their family.
Yeah.
And I think that's being challenged, and dynamics being challenged, and I'm all more for it, to be honest, because I've noticed, I know what it can feel like to be suppressed at home or in an environment where you feel like you don't have the freedom of choice.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's changing in this world, is that women feel like they have more of a freedom of choice. I think men do as well.
Yeah.
But I think there's still a bit of more of a pressure on both genders to get married. But I think it's now accepting that we're in an age now where ourselves in our generation and children are now more inclined to do what they want to do. And I don't think there's anything wrong in that. And I naturally can understand how that's difficult for our parents and their parents, because what they've seen in life is like, let's look at this box in life, is what we said, that exercise of getting married and working and that linear way of living. They're seeing something different now that they're probably not expected or used to, as in with their children actually answering back to say, I will get married when I want to get married, or, I will do the profession that I want to do. So it's more a case of listening to your inner power and going, you know what, I can actually live a life for myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the world that we're living in now, and that women and women, I'm looking at women because there's been a lot of women empowerment, and I've seen, we're in a world now, like I said, where it's like they're not just going to be told what to do anymore. And you're right, you're talking about, let's call it toxicity in relationships and unhealthy love in relationships. That dynamic is changing as well now, because the world is now recognizing that healthy love exists, and two people getting together isn't just about having kids, getting together and having kids just for the sake of, everyone else around you playing happy families, just because, it satisfies everyone else in the family. But what about the two people who are actually getting married? What about the connection between the two? Yeah. So I'm all for the fact that healthy love is the most important thing in a relationship, and that commitment and that loving connection between the two of you first, because I feel from what I've seen is that you get two people that are getting married, but is there love there? Is there a genuine commitment to grow together? Yeah. I just think the dynamics between what it was in the past to now are completely different for those reasons. And, I'm not married yet, and I want to be able to find the right one, but I want to be able to grow with them and be in a loving relationship and promoting commitment and being able to improve and grow on our journey to be the best that we can, healthily, mentally, for our children. Yeah. So that's sort of the way I see it. So, I think there is a pressure in that perspective getting married because, like I said, it's that tick box exercise. But it's a very difficult one to juggle for if you're as a child. It's very difficult to juggle because in childhood you've been imprinted with this expectation of this is what we want for you.
Yeah.
You should achieve it. I'm not going to say you must.
Yeah.
You should achieve it. But then you've got the argument of, well, now the battle of, well, why do I need to? You comes across as, why do I need to?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're trying to explore, right? Is that you've told us, you've asked us, or you've brought this expectation on us, and we're going, why?
Yeah.
Rather than saying, okay, we'll do it, we're saying why. And now I'm sort of, and I guess that's the main thing I want to say, is just that why. We're challenging the why. I just think there's a lot more to like, to two people getting married now than there was from ever before. And I'm all for it. You've got to be healthy, right? If you want to be together.
Yeah, and I think obviously you mentioned obviously like both males and females have a choice, and I guess we both have kind of older sisters. And I guess like I guess we can both empathize with the norm, because we've grown up with sisters and what potentially they were expected to do growing up, whether it's and this goes back to like the cultural expectations, is the gender role, right? It's kind of females or the women go in the kitchen, cook, whatever, do the washing up and all that kind of stuff, while like younger like boys like us, we didn't really had that sort of pressure. We kind of had the pressure of doing the gardening with dad, or doing like some bits around the house to fix like DIY bits and all that kind of stuff, or going out and doing the manual labor stuff. We kind of had that, but we didn't really have it like too bad. And again, luckily my parents were fairly kind of the pressure wasn't really too much on my sisters. And I remember like even with me, like even if I wanted to kind of cook or do the dishes, I remember when I was younger and like people came over to the house, I forgot how old I was about 15, 16, and I thought the guests were still there, everyone was in the kitchen, we're just talking and stuff, and I was like, I might as well do the dishes. And my mum was like, what are you doing, why are you doing the dishes? I was like, I don't mind doing the dishes. And like I, whether it's like they were close friends, but I don't know if mum felt embarrassed that I was doing the dishes, but it was like, I don't mind doing the dishes. I don't mind I enjoy cooking. So it's kind of like, sometimes it's kind of like when I'm cooking, or earlier on, I think now it's a bit different, but earlier on it's like, I'm just cooking, and it's kind of like, oh, I'll do that for you. Like, what do you want me to do? And it's like, don't worry, I enjoy it, kind of thing. And I think the gender roles as well is like the expectations of what like girls are supposed to do, what boys are supposed to do as well, and how we, like this day and age now we're even challenging that, right? Well, like I know a few people who kind of enjoy cooking or doing domestic things, or whether it's that, or whether it's we don't have a choice. Like I went to university, and it's kind of like I don't have a choice, I've got to do this. Granted, I did sometimes bring my washing home because it was expensive to do washing at university, right? So I took it home, and I wasn't too far from home anyway, so I did it. But mum like packed food and stuff for me, but I was like, I don't mind, and that's how I started learning about cooking and enjoying that kind of stuff. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? There's it's just the expectations, whether it's the gender roles, or going in like you have to get married for this reason, or whatever. I just think it is getting challenged loads now, but I guess it's the day and age we live in, where, like you said, the kids do have a voice now. But unfortunately, there's probably people out there who still don't have that much of a choice. But I guess they were brought up to not know anything different. Whether it's kind of like, no, this is what you do. They're probably brought up in I guess potentially an old school sort of mentality, where it is kind of, no, you go to school, you go to potentially further education, and then you get married, have kids, and
Well, I'll ask you a question then. As children, should we feel guilty if we don't uphold our parents' expectations?
I think it. I think it depends. I think me personally, I'm a guilty person constantly. I always feel guilty
Same,
for things I shouldn't be.
yeah, just
Right.
me.
So,
Whatever.
and I'm working on myself to kind of like sit with that and be like, you know what, I shouldn't really feel guilty for this. Like for me having a voice, I shouldn't really feel guilty
Yeah.
for that. But it's sitting with that guilt and be like, okay, I'm comfortable with this guilt. And again, I'm a very logical person in my head, and I'm kind of thinking, okay, should I really actually be feeling guilty? Should I feel guilty for not wanting to go to so and so's party when your parents are saying you should go to their party because they went to your wedding or they went to your party or they came to our house? And I'm like, should I feel guilty that I'm just kind of like, actually, mum and dad, you go, I'm staying at home, because like I did used to get dragged along to these parties, and you just sitting there, you're like, don't know anyone. I'm literally just sitting here. You know, it's sometimes kind of like it's tough to kind of always try to fulfill what parents want, right? But I think, it's I guess sitting with that guilt for me and just being like, okay, I shouldn't feel guilty.
Yeah. You've really got to you've got to remind yourself of that. And I think, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the way I feel about it is that it has happened to me, is that I revolve my life around those expectations. So it's like in childhood, you've been told that we all inherit. It is the whole purpose of our brains, the way it's patterned is because of the information that we inherit and how it impacts our belief systems and stuff. But the way I was looking at it is that now there's a lack of, if you think of a person that doesn't have expectations, they're living a free life. Let's just think of it that way. They're living a free life. They have no expectations placed upon them. But the difficulty I feel like the difficulty, or certainly if I've had this difficulty, and I've expressed it with my parents openly, by the way, I've had this conversation with them to express how it can feel pressurizing if those expectations haven't been met, because it's more of I don't think it comes across as an ultimatum. It just comes across as, this is what, like I said, this is what we want for you, but it does come across as it's what they want as well as alongside the best that they want for their kids. And that's how I've interpreted it. But the pressurized, the way it works is with this pressure, you try and live the life that you want, but you are dragged back by, you can't go too far because your parents may need you. Or your parents, they might ask you for something, to do something. Again, that's still an expectation placed upon you where they want you to do something. And I guess I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that as children, our first thought is our parents and what they want before our own. And that dynamic, which I guess, I'm trying to certainly challenge, is if I want to go, for example, if I want to go on holiday tomorrow, I want to be able to go on holiday tomorrow. If I don't want to go to like a wedding or a party, I'm going to say, I'm not going because I've got my own life that I want to do. And this is the interesting part, is that, again, it's another question, is do our parents appreciate that we also have a life of our own? And I think that's another challenge, is that I've noticed in my mind, it's like if I want to do things, but they come calling, I used to drop everything, forget my life, I've got to pander to their life. That I feel, I don't know what you think of that, I feel is the challenge that I'm experiencing right now.
So I think with when you say about you don't have expectations, like someone who's living kind of, I guess, carefree with no expectations put on them. But do you think that expectation is just helping inadvertently to try and push you to be a better person for yourself? For example, this is a silly example, but when we were younger, me and my sisters joke about it quite a lot.
Yeah.
We used to kind of go get takeouts and stuff. My dad never used to go into a chip shop. I was younger, and my dad was like, "Yeah, just go and get the bag of chips. Here's the money." I was like, "Okay, cool." And I'm there, kind of like, excuse me,
Yeah.
like and it's kind of like, okay, but I've been thrown into deep end, and like, but it's something small, but as a kid, it's like intimidating. Like, I don't speak to anyone other than my own friends at school, right? And then it's kind of like you have to make sure you get the order right and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, but that in the long run, it's kind of made me confident in terms of speaking to people. I can now just go up to someone in a shop, ask a silly question, or I can go to someone, just ask a silly question, just be like, "Oh, what the hell does this mean?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, this is what it is." But and then it used to be annoying when I was a kid, but I think whether that's kind of shaped me as the person I am now, where it's kind of like, if you have those expectations, you start growing yourself as a person, and sometimes it's and then you go back to kind of like dropping everything and doing something for your parents. I 100% did that, but that's because that's what I saw what my dad was doing, or still does. And it's kind of like, even though he's busy or he's got something on, whether it's family time or something, someone calls him and just say, "Oh, my car's broke down," or "I need your help with this. There's like, I don't know, a burst pipe or something. I need your help." It's like, "Yep, be there in like 5 minutes," kind of thing. And like, "Dad, we've got like something planned here, like what's going on?" But that's because that's what we saw, and I don't think there's anything wrong with helping people, but it's also having that boundary as well, and just be like, "I can't right now, unless it's a real big emergency, but it's like, I can't right now, I'll have a look tomorrow," kind of thing.
It's like a dependency, really, isn't it? I mean, like, I don't know, I firmly believe that whenever I have children and I bring my children into this world, I want to empower them and strengthen them so much that they can take on the world themselves.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I'll be, take them to the wild, wild west and go, "Right, here you go, you're on your own."
Yeah.
So I will back you, but I want you to learn, I want you to grow and learn from what the world is like. I want you to stand up for yourself. I want you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet.
Yeah.
And any challenges you have, work it out for yourself. How can I get out of these challenges? How can I grow into becoming a more stronger person for this world? And I think the one thing I what I'm really truly appreciative of my parents, and particularly for mine, is that I do have that backing for them.
Yeah.
Because they always say, "Look, don't worry, we've got, we're here for you," and that is really, it's you feel appreciative of that they are there, because naturally, I also like to say is that some people don't have the parents backing, or some don't have their parents' support to be able to support them with the world. And it's heartwarming to know that whilst we're out there in the big bad world, which we are on our own 2 feet standing in the big bad world, our parents are there to back us.
Yeah.
And I think that's really something that we shouldn't lose sight of. Because at the same time, I mean, this is also, I'm going to put this on you, is that you are probably you're a parent now.
Yeah.
You will probably feel the same dynamic with your child when they're like 15, 16, 17, and going off to university as well. So I guess there's probably 2 ways I feel like we should look at it. One is that, our parents do want what's best for us, completely agree with that, and that they do have our back when we need it. But it's also for them to have the security of themselves that their children are going to be okay.
Yeah.
As well, no matter what. Even though, let's relate it to the expectation part a little bit. Is that, getting married and having a good stable income, so i.e. doctor, engineer, or whatever. But to know that to have that confidence that their children can work it out for themselves, that they will be able to build a life for themselves. And again, I'm exploring that, not saying that they don't, not saying that they do, but I think that if we can strike that balance, that, okay, which is like, okay, they're probably not married yet, or they probably haven't got this job, but what I can see is that my kids are happy, my kids are secure, and that, maybe give the kids the patience that they need in order to find their partner, to find their job, to find their way.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what I want to say, is that if we can strike that balance, then I think the relationships that we hold for our parents and children, I think would be a lot more healthier.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
So with like the marriage thing, because obviously you're not married, and like what? Yeah. Obviously, if your parents are kind of talking to you about marriage, and like, you know, you need to find someone and stuff, do you feel there's guilt there? So, you know what, I should, or whether it's kind of like, I don't want to at the moment. Like, how do you feel like when you do have that conversation with them?
Well, at the moment, it's a conversation that I'm on board with, because that's what I want.
Yeah.
The thing is probably the way the way they go about finding someone is probably different to the way that I want to find someone.
Yeah.
The wants that I would like in a relationship is healthy love, is commitment, is that, do we share the same understanding?
Yeah.
Is there a way forward for us where that I can grow with my partner? I mean, I don't know, the way I've observed sort of connections and couples in the past generation is there that those needs in a relationship, that healthy love, is it there within the relationship within them too? From what I've observed and experienced, no. But I'm not blaming anyone for it. Yeah. I just think that the dynamics of relationships now are so more understood that healthy love actually exists, and it's possible.
Yeah.
It just comes across as if in the past life is that I'm not saying it wasn't possible, but it just didn't seem that connection just didn't seem to be there.
Yeah.
Do I feel is there a guilt? Yes, because naturally your parents and other families, around them, will always say, this is the right time to get married, and this, that, the other, because that's, they got married at an early age, and that's what they saw, that's what they knew.
Yeah.
Obviously, as time is getting older, they're probably questioning, why is this, why is it not happening yet? So there's ways to look at it, and I do feel a bit guilty, but I try and say to myself is that I don't want to make the wrong decision by rushing things within 3 to 6 months. But I feel like I'm ready now. That's the most important thing. I feel like I'm ready now, but I want to be able to find the right partner for myself, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to be committed to that person. But at the same time, I want my relationship dynamics to be so strong so that my kids recognize and look back at 2 healthy, loving parents that we can provide and protect for. And I've seen a lot of divorces over the last, you go on your Instagram, you see lots of divorce, oh, we're going to get a divorce, it's best for our kids. It's like, well, what kind of message or what kind of pressure do you put on your children that they have to, they have to be between 2 different houses? Is that good for them? No.
Yeah.
So now I've had to work on myself a lot, because I noticed a lot of trauma and a lot of dynamics within my thinking patterns and my behaviour. It's not bad behaviour, but just things that I wanted to change for me to become a better person and more secure within myself to be with a partner. So I feel like I'm ready now.
Yeah.
So I say to myself, you're feeling guilty. You're feeling guilty because you're not upholding the expectations that were placed upon you.
Yeah.
But what you're doing right now, yes, I'm 34 years old, but I feel like I'm doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
For myself and for the family, so that I can, obviously they bring into the groom's home, right?
Yeah.
I can bring someone in that I know that there is a long-term future there.
Yeah.
And they don't have to worry when they're getting older that anything will happen to us and then we won't get divorced, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way I'm seeing it. But I think a lot of it has been because I've really needed to work on myself, and I've had some difficulties in my life over the last 4 or 5 years, which has made me feel that I wasn't ever ready for it. But now I feel like I am.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Wow.
So.
Yeah.
So that was good. I guess what the last question I wanted to sort of express to share with you was, how can we improve this dynamic between us as children and parents by So I'll try and frame this in the way by making them secure that what we want is what they want. Because I'll start again, because the reason why I'm asking the question I'm about to ask is the dynamics of these expectations can break a family as well.
Yeah.
Where you have to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And that means that because the parents want something else, but they don't listen to their children or what their children's desires are, they don't listen to their children's desires, it can cause that split. How can we bring that closer together with with these expectations hanging above us? Because I think that's the problem here. Is probably these expectations are causing a divide. How can we bring me as parents and our children closer together?
I think that parents who are old school, they are always right in their heads. They're always right. This is the answer. I'm always right.
Yeah.
So, firstly, if you got parents who are old school, first you need to kind of break that thing of, okay, you know what, you're not always right. I think parents tend to underestimate how well-rounded, how educated, how street smart their kids are, because obviously the world is a completely different place of what it is now. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe like I'm a bit different, because when I do something, I've got to do the research into it, and I've got to be like, I'm 100% sure this is the answer. But we also have to understand, or what they also have to understand is, no one's perfect. No one's right 100% of the time. Right. So even though they think they're always right, it's kind of like, okay, I get that, but here's my opinion. I want to go for my opinion. And like you said, luckily, and there are some parents out there who back their kids as well. Sure. And it's kind of like, okay, go out, do what you need to do. And if you make a mistake, hey, we're all human, we all make mistakes, but we're here to kind of back you. But so I think the first thing is trying to get the parents to kind of be like, you know what, just give me a bit of like, just give me a bit of slack kind of thing, and then from there, then you're like, okay, and it might even start something really small, like, I don't know, let me, I don't know, like, it could be like education. It could be like, your parents be like, no, you become a doctor and that's it, that's end of. I'm not smart enough to be a doctor, so I didn't get my grades. I didn't even take the subjects. I knew I wasn't going to get the grades. But it's that thing. It's like, okay, how about if you give me give me a bit of slack, and then maybe I can do some sciences and I can do something else that I might be interested in. And then going from there, then it's like, okay, university, let's see what job I can get from here, because that's the thing, there's jobs out there where you can make more than a doctor. So financial is their kind of driver, then there are other jobs out there. Definitely, you can make more than a doctor, but I guess it's the status thing as well. It's like my son's a doctor, my daughter's a doctor and stuff, and there is that sort of like, I don't know if it's just in the Asian community, it might be everywhere, where it's kind of like, okay, so-and-so's a doctor, and you're like, yeah, nice. You have that bit of respect, don't you? So it's just, I guess it's firstly just telling, or trying to explain, or having those boundaries with the older parents, and just be like, or the old school parents, and just be like, just give me a bit of slack. But then it's not always on, as in, it's not always on the parents to kind of start giving in as well. I think it's a give and take from both sides, and it's kind of like for example, like we go back to like the example with like the parties and stuff like that. It's as in going with your parents to parties, and I don't really want to go. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, it'll make them happy, I'll go. And it's not even the guilt thing. It's like, whether it's kind of like, it's a Friday night, I don't have anything else to do, like maybe like wife and son are away at her parents' house, fine, I'll go with like my parents, and then they get that little bit of, they get a bit of a buzz that their kids with you, and I think sometimes it is that give and take. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, I'll do this, and I don't mind doing it. I mean, you do, because you rather kind of have a bit of peace and quiet, or do your own thing, or meet up with mates or something. But it's like, you know what, I'll do this because it means a lot to them. And then I guess it is just kind of trying to be like, yeah, well, there'll be kind of a give and take here. But I think the main hurdle will be with parents trying to soften them up and just be like, just give me a bit of slack here. But I don't know if
it is. It's accepting. I think the one thing that springs to mind is, number one, that's healthy love, because you know, it's also about accepting. The main thing that came to mind is accepting choices. We accept our parents' choices. You accept your children's choices, I feel, as well. Providing that it's in a direction where our parents think, you know what, the choices that my children have made are good for their future. Not making choice in the sense of, anything bad, as in like, I don't know, I'm going to go on a beach and work at a beach club or something like that, or a nightclub or anything like that. I guess I'm trying to say is to have that balance and that engagement where the choices that the children are making, that there is a benefit to our choices. Be able to, recognize that children have a voice as well, and they have their wants and needs now, right? And I'm sure, like in those times, that will have been maybe have been the case for those who unfortunately didn't have the opportunity for themselves. They were, maybe either they were married into a family, or they were just told that, look, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, the gender roles you were talking about. I don't know. There might be a lot of families out there where, the kids as well want to be able to aspire and do things, and they're probably unable to as well. And I think there has to be that healthy communication and dialogue, and that relationship between parents and kids to be able to say, you know what, I think, my children do have a voice, and I just want what's best for my children, but recognize that can come from the children's choices not just their parents' choices as well. We strike that dynamic. I think the thing is, you've got so many benefits to that. The communication between the parents are going to be more healthy. Children are going to respect their parents a hell of a lot more. They're going to love their parents a hell of a lot more. And my dad says, my father says this to me a lot, is that I want you to be my friend. Not father and son. Be my friend. Come to me if there's any problems. I will give you advice. I will listen to you what you want as well. And that's the thing, is that we've built, it's in prime example, me and my dad have built that relationship over the last 4 or 5 years. And I feel like I can go to him. And I also know that he will be accepting of my choices as well. And I think that's probably the message, is that listen to your children, and listen to, if they have a direction they want to go in, back them. Be there for them, but also let them fly. Do you know what I mean? Because then if you put them out in the big bad world and let them fly, yes, they'll have to, in life, you have to work things out for yourselves. You have to stand on your own 2 feet. And I think that's just, be the parachute. Do you know what I mean, for your kid?
I think it's also like, be that, but with the kids, just don't take the piss as well. I mean, like, for example, like, I don't know how this would go down with, I guess, parents of our parents' generation, is kind of, okay, if I'm not, so going back to the marriage example, like, I haven't found anyone that I want to marry, but I'm kind of with someone. What if I move in with her? Like, what would that mean? Because I think
benefits to that. I'll come to that. There is benefits. There's benefits.
Yeah, but it's kind of it's that thing of okay, I want to, because in their head it's like, no, you ain't moving in. You get married and that's it, kind of thing. You can move into a separate house, but you have to get married first. But then it's like you said, that there might be, like I said, there will be benefits, and there will be drawbacks. So, like, just moving in with a partner and just say, I'm not married, but this is what I want to do. And I think the day and age we live in now, the modern day and age, where it's kind of like, you know what, that's, it's because the thing is, Asian people don't do that really. They don't move in, but you got like English people who going from like partner to partner and just moving in with them constantly, and you're just like, okay, yeah. I'm not saying they all do that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I know people who kind of moved in with their fiancés or moved in with, you know, their boyfriends or girlfriends, and it's like, and it's normal, but it's not normal for us. Like, how do you feel like, whether it's your parents or like old school parents who are a bit liberal, do you think that will be a bit of a bit of a middle ground, just like, yeah, I'm not getting married yet, I don't want to get married, but I'm moving in with someone? Like, what do you think, like, would that be sort of looked upon?
Yeah, I think for our parents, first thing, I just feel like that might be a bit of a no-go, but at the same time, the way I'm thinking about it is, well, there would be benefits to that, because you'd understand their habits, you'd understand each other's habits, your likes and dislikes, you're building and growing that relationship with one another. But I mean, it's a difficult one. That's a difficult question. I mean, I've not really thought about it enough to warrant an answer, but I feel that that's probably not something that would be accepted. But I guess it's looking at what potential benefits could come out of it. But I think it depends on the purpose of why you're moving in. I mean, is your relationship that strong that you want to, you know, there's got to be your relationship that strong that you feel like moving in, there is security knowing that you will get married in the future. So it's more like sort of that purpose. I mean, like, moving in, like I said, it does have its benefits, because you then you start to know about each other. It's a difficult question, but I think I don't think it would. I personally don't feel it'd be accepted. However, like I said, I think there are benefits to it if it was an option. But I think it does depend on how, because the last thing you want is to move in and then you have a fight and argument and go, we're not living with each other anymore. I do personally feel that potentially buying a house for moving in without getting married is very uneven and insecure. That's an insecure ground to be on, I feel. You know, I actually do have the belief that if you are, you know, you're married and your connection is strong, and that you foresee a long-term future together, then consider the moving in question. I think that's just probably my belief, though. But you know, I'm not begrudging anyone else who does it. But it's providing that you know that there is a long-term future for both of you.
Because that's the thing, right? So that's the thing. So you've got cultural expectations of, when I get married. So you don't really, like, we don't, like, our culture, we don't move in with anyone before getting married. But then also it's kind of like, okay, but so we still have to live by these cultural expectations on some level. It's probably just not as strict as, you know, what we can do. Like, like, for example, it's a no-go to like move in. I think regardless of how liberal you feel your parents are, it's going to be like, no, it's not going to happen. We know that, and that's cultural expectations for us, right? But so I think that's like, obviously just a question that kind of popped into my head, or a scenario that's popped into my head, where it's kind of like, okay, we do need to have the conversation with the parents, but also, like I said, we can't take the piss, because we still know that there are some sort of no-go areas.
I agree.
So
I agree. As long as, like I said, we strike that balance and have that engagement with our parents. Why do you think it's a good thing? Why do you think it's a bad thing? Look at it from parents' point of view, look at it from our point of view as well. And that's healthy communication, rather than parents saying, no, you can't do that because I know what's best for you. I still don't think that's right. And they may have an opinion, say, I don't think it's right for you because of these reasons, rather than shutting it down. So I personally feel like, in order for that engagement and that connection between parents and children, yes, they'll have their expectations. Our children, we might have expectations of our parents as well. It's really important to note that it's just not, yes, we are talking about parents' expectations and cultural expectations, but there's also children's expectations for their parents as well. Listen to each other, accept or discuss and work through each other's choices, but back your children to know that, you know, provide that their choices, the choices are beneficial, for as long as their choices are beneficial for themselves, but also just trust them.
And if it's
trust your kids, like, you know, you know, providing that they're not doing anything wrong and going into
Yeah.
bad habits and bad groups or anything.
Yeah.
But just trust your children. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? The more you trust your children, the more secure they will feel in the relationship, and I think that's fundamental.
Yeah.
Accept their decisions and trust. And if you have those foundations, then I think I do feel that the dynamic between parents and children in terms of relationship will go a long way, and they'll come closer together.
And that's it. And then I guess the guilt might not be as prominent, and you know the other pressures won't get you down as much, or you know it might not kind of get the better of you. And I think with that, then you've got the confidence to speak to your parents, and then you can just be like, you know what, like, parents, this is how I'm feeling, and then hopefully then it's just a much better environment for you to be, and you know, have good communication with them. So I agree. Cool.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Nice.
We'll see you soon.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to the Thinking Out Loud podcast. Please like and subscribe on your way out, and check back for the next one.